Clerk will call the roll.
Glenn Whitley, County Judge.
Here.
Roy C. Brooks, Commissioner Precinct 1.
Present.
Andy H. Wynn, Commissioner Precinct 2.
Here.
Gary Fickus, Commissioner Precinct 3.
Here.
J.D. Johnson, Commissioner Precinct 4.
Here.
Constitutes a quorum.
Thank you. Is Harold Montgomery here? Our invocation this morning will be delivered by David Barrett, our chaplain from the Sheriff's Office. After the invocation, please remain standing for our pledges.
Let us pray. Almighty God, we are truly thankful for all of your many blessings to us. We also recognize our need of you. I ask this day a special blessing upon our commissioners, on our elected officials, on our administrator, his staff, all of employees, most especially those that are here today celebrating special time in service. We pray that all that we do today will be right in your eyes and thereby helpful to all whom we serve. We ask it in your precious name. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Agenda announcements, Mr. Manius.
Your Honor, members of the court, we do not have any announcements as relates to the agenda at this time.
Thank you. Court members, you have before you the minutes of our regular meeting of September the 27th.
Move approval.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. We have several proclamations and commendations as we move forward. But before we start that, I want to make just a couple of comments. One, we were all happy that I shouldn't say that we were all happy that our tax assessor collector ran for mayor. After she made that decision, we were all happy that she got elected. But she's gotten that city hat on now, and she's decided she wants to get a little slap down on us about the United Way campaign. And so she's kind of challenged the city against the county on a per capita basis for our upcoming United Way campaign. And so I want to encourage everybody, we as a court and then our tax assessor collector, Ron and Mary Louise and Tom and Joe and Dee, we've all kind of gotten into this little wager with them. And I think what the eventual wager is going to be is it's us against the city council and the city manager against the administrator. I'm glad you wanted to be a part of this also.
Thank you.
Thank you for volunteering. And if we win, then we'll have them see if we can't get them to cook us dinner. And if they win, then we'll cook them dinner. So I just want you, as you have an opportunity to talk with your various departments or with your employees that you see, to really encourage them. We're going to do it again on a per capita basis. So if we can get folks to do it on, I each year found it much easier if we just do it on a payroll plan, so I have it taken out of my check each time we go along. I would encourage you to encourage your employees to let's step up this year. I think last year I said if you haven't given, if you could give $2 a paycheck, or if you are giving, increase it by $2. Let's step up. We don't want the city to outdo us in this deal, and they're ahead of us right now. So go back and encourage your folks to get involved, and let's show, Betsy says the county way of doing things are real good. Let's continue to show her that the county way of doing things is a little bit better than the city way of doing things. So that's one thing that I want to kind of bring up. And then the other thing as we go forward, what a game. Cruz may have been into a slump, but he's come out of it now, I'm going to tell you that. So we certainly want to recognize and cheer on the Rangers, and we may have to have some Ranger Red Days from now and through the World Series. And I'd encourage us to do whatever we can to show our support for the Texas Rangers, and you folks in your various departments and elected officials. Do whatever you feel like's appropriate, and let's show our support for the Rangers as we go forward. Now, having said all those things that were off agenda, I'll get back on the agenda. And the first item that we have is a commendation for Atmos Energy. Commissioner Brooks, I believe you've got that on the...
I do, and this is for Atmos Energy's outstanding support of our Human Services Department and of the people of Tarrant County on energy assistance matters. If you would read this into the record, I would appreciate it.
Whereas Atmos Energy's commitment to service goes far beyond providing gas and heating, it also invests in the community it serves through programs that help consumers pay their gas bills during times of financial need, contributes to economic development activities, and improves the health and welfare of thousands of people every year through corporate donations and generosity of its employees. And whereas Atmos Energy has collaborated with local community organizations to educate and empower consumers across the state through Sharing the Warmth program that is designed as a supplement to government and community aid programs. And whereas as an extension of its Sharing the Warmth program, Atmos Energy and Atmos Energy customers have committed over $750,000 in the past years to Tarrant County communities to help families in critical situations meet their gas and heating needs. Now, therefore, be it resolved that we, the Commissioners Court of Tarrant County, do hereby commend Atmos Energy for its significant dedication and commitment to providing community service in Tarrant County. In witness whereof, we've heretofore set our hands and caused the seal of Tarrant County to be affixed this 11th day of October, 2011.
Because of their outstanding corporate citizenship, I move approval of this resolution.
We have a motion and a second. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
And we have Mr. Daniel Alderson and Ms. Marilyn Ackman and Mr. A.Z. Drones to accept this.
Marilyn, did you kick somebody and make them? Yeah, well, I've had that feeling before.
I couldn't leave you out there. Come on, Marilyn. They see you blocking the count.
Don't you want to get in?
You can go right in the middle.
All right, who's the spokesperson for this? Marilyn? You hold it.
Thank you. Judge Whitley, Commissioners, I'd just like to say on behalf of Atmos Energy, thank you for this proclamation, and thank you for the opportunity to partner with you to help those who need assistance in paying their utility bills. The bulk of the Sharing the Warmth dollars come from the gas customers in Tarrant County. Through our Sharing the Warmth program, they have the opportunity to add an additional amount to their bill every month, and those dollars go to agencies like Tarrant County to provide assistance. And I'd like to say a special thank you to Mary Lou and her staff for their cooperation and their partnership in making sure that these dollars go where they're most desperately needed. Thank you again for this opportunity.
Judge Whitley and fellow commissioners, again, thank you. We do have, we can't come and accept a proclamation without making another donation, but Mary Lou, on behalf of Atmos Energy, we would like to, I have two of my staff people here, but Corey, why don't you bring up the laptops? But they need some laptops for mobilization of blitzes and different things to help the most needy that can't get to the facilities, and so we are presenting three laptops today to Tarrant County Health and Human Services. And again, we are here to help those who need the most help, and that is our elderly, families with children, and the disabled. And thank you again.
If I had known a proclamation would generate such a generous response, we'd have done this long ago.
We can put you on here on a weekly basis if you'd like.
They have provided utility assistance dollars for your citizens, for our customers, and now they are providing us the means to document those expenditures. And on behalf of Tarrant County Human Services and Tarrant County, Texas, I thank Atmos from the depth of my heart. Thank you all very much.
Jerry, I'm sorry. You weren't in the room when we took the group photo.
That's quite all right. And in fact, thank you so much, y'all.
Secondly, I have a proclamation in honor of Binational Health Week. Your Honor, would you read it into the record, please?
Whereas the Secretary of Health and Secretary of Foreign Relations of the United Mexican States, the Health Commissioner of the Institute of Mexicans Abroad, the United States-Mexico Border Health Commission, and the California-Mexico Health Initiative have recognized the necessity of improving access to health services to migrant and immigrant workers and their families, and whereas Binational Health Week, October 1st through 16th, reflects coordinated efforts between the United States, Canada, Mexico, Guatemala, and El Salvador to improve the quality of life of migrant and immigrant families by expanding their access to health care, increasing their health insurance coverage, and reducing their unmet health needs. And whereas Binational Health Week is going to be celebrated in 3 Canadian provinces, in 40 of the United States, and in the Mexican states with high rates of migration, and whereas Binational Health Week has contributed directly to strengthening the physical and mental health of more than 734,000 people who receive health interventions during the previous 10 Binational Health Week celebrations. Now, therefore, be it resolved that we, the Commissioners Court of Tarrant County, do hereby proclaim the week of October 1st through 16th as Binational Health Week in Tarrant County. And further, Tarrant County encourages efforts that help support the health and well-being of all people and supports partnerships that can increase access and awareness of available health services. In witness whereof, we have herefore set our hands and caused the seal of Tarrant County to be affixed on this 11th day of October, 2011.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
The health of those who live in our communities is probably the most important thing going, so it's important that we recognize efforts to improve that. Here to accept this proclamation this morning is our own health equity coordinator from Tarrant County Public Health Department, Ms. Dawn Sankofa.
I would like just to take a brief moment to show some appreciation. This is the Health Department's sixth annual Carnival Day Salute, and each year Commissioner Brooks has supported us with a proclamation. He wasn't able to attend this year, but he sent Amanda Apollon, and what a pleasure it was to meet her. She and her children came to Carnival Day Salute and stayed the entire time. She got out of the heels and they participated in the events. She took resources that she was going to share with the community, and she talked about the county facilities and what a good job they did in helping us to set up. So in appreciation to everyone here and to Commissioner Brooks, I also like to share some thank you to everyone at the Health Department and as well as facilities that helped make this possible. Thank you.
And Dawn, thanks for mentioning Amanda. She's an outstanding Tarrant County employee. And she and her kids had a ball that day. Finally, Your Honor, Hispanic Heritage Month 2011. Would you read this proclamation into the record?
Whereas September 15th through October 15th is recognized as National Hispanic Heritage Month in honor of the many contributions that Hispanic Americans have made and continue to make to our nation, and includes Mexican Independence Day, which is September the 16th, the day people of Mexican descent around the world celebrate Mexico's independence from Spanish rule. And whereas in 1965, Richard Dick Salinas initiated the 16th day of September parade, instilling a new recognition of Hispanic culture, tradition, and history in our community. And whereas the Mexican Independence Parade Committee held the 45th annual 16th day of September parade in downtown Fort Worth on September 10th, continuing the tradition, culture, history, and future of Hispanic Americans. And whereas the Mexican Independence Parade Committee will continue to be very active in the community, working to promote Hispanic heritage and giving scholarships to deserving Hispanic students to further their education, as they honor Dick Salinas for his strength of vision, power of leadership in his community, and the legacy he left behind. Now therefore be it resolved that we, the Commissioners Court of Tarrant County, do hereby proclaim September 15th through October 15th, 2011 as Hispanic Heritage Month in Tarrant County. In witness whereof, we've herefore set our hands and caused the seal of Tarrant County to be affixed this 11th day of October, 2011.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Here with us this morning to receive this proclamation are two very dear ladies. Mrs. Juanita Salinas, who is the sister of Dick Salinas, and Mrs. Pauline Valenciano, who is a committee member of the Mexican Independence Parade Committee. Ladies, if you will join me at the podium. Can I be a sandwich this morning?
Thank you, Judge Whitney. On behalf of the 6 September Committee, we want to thank the commissioners and you for the proclamation, especially Roy Brooks, who's been with us for many years and helped us. I have been with the committee 46 years, since my brother started the committee. And now I would like to represent you. My assistant, Mr. Joe Chavez, he will take over years to come. Thank you.
Excellent.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations, Joe. Thank you.
Your Honor, Commissioners, we want to thank you this morning for the proclamation, for honoring Mr. Salinas. Pauline and Juanita tell me that J.D. Johnson, who early on in the early years was one of the biggest supporters of this parade getting off the ground. We appreciate the history that's there. I'm here to invite you in the years to come. It looks like the ball's going to be in my hand. And Judge Whitley, the commissioners, the invitation is extended from this day forth to ride in the parade with us. Support us in that way. We sure look forward to having you with us and continuing this event, this tradition that exists now for 45, 46 years. Thank you so much for the proclamation this morning and your time.
Thank you.
Right, and Constable De Leon, we want to thank Constable De Leon that has consistently provided security and traffic control at the event out there, and the various entities in the community that have helped continue this parade, this event. We thank you so much. Thank you.
Constable De Leon is another outstanding public servant. I'm done.
Sure. Commissioner Johnson.
Yes, Your Honor, I have a proclamation today, White Cane Day, and if you would read the proclamation into the record, please.
Okay. Whereas the white cane was introduced in the United States in 1930 by a member of the Lions Club International and has, along with the guide dog, become universally known as identifying symbols of the blind and visually impaired. And whereas the white cane and guide dog are tools that are key to greater mobility and independence for the blind or visually impaired, and whereas for the sighted, the white cane and the dog are reminders to respond with respect and courtesy to individuals using them, and whereas for all of us, they are reminders of our commitment to removing barriers, both physically and perceptual, that prevent people who are blind from reaching their full potential. And whereas the blind community has come together to promote awareness of the independence and contributions that individuals who are blind make to the social and economic life of our community, now therefore be it resolved that we, the Commissioners Court of Tarrant County, do proclaim October 11th, 2011 as White Cane Day in Tarrant County, and urge all citizens to join in promoting independent travel and full participation for all of us in every aspect of life. In witness whereof, we've heretofore set our hands and caused the seal of Tarrant County to be affixed this 11th day of October, 2011.
I move for its approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
And we are honored today to have Ms. Nancy Fisher, Lighthouse for the Blind, Mr. Todd Icard, Lighthouse for the Blind, Mr. Alan Cole, President, Greater Fort Worth Chapter of the American Council of Blind, Mrs. Ginger Kraft, Vice President, Greater Fort Worth Chapter American Council of the Blind, and Mr. Clayton Masner, Greater Fort Worth Chapter of the American Council of the Blind. If you folks would meet me at the podium. We'll see if we can get a picture to start with. Let me get in your yeah. All right. Well, I don't know who the spokesman is, but good to see all of you. Good to see you again. Yes, sir.
I'm going to thank you and the Commissioner's Court for...
Well, I'm going to let you get up here at the podium, and Alan, you want to hold that? Yes, sir. And thank y'all very much for being here. Appreciate it. Todd, come on up here.
On behalf of the blind community, I want to thank the Commissioner's Court for their continued support for our goals in the community. You have been very supportive, particularly Commissioner J.D. Johnson's office and his staff. And every year for the last 3 years, Steve Townsend from Commissioner Johnson's office has come to our walk, our White Cane Day walk. And this year we're going to try to get a blindfold and a white cane so he can join us in the walk. But we do appreciate the proclamation, and thank you very much, and we hope to have the same continued support in the future. Thank you.
Ms. Kraft, thank you for being here today. I appreciate it. Thank you.
We're going to have to go watch that walk.
Especially if you put a blindfold on it.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be televised.
Steve, if the white cane doesn't work, would you get him a dog that bites?
Now comes the time of the month where we recognize our employees for their years of service with Tarrant County. Most of y'all know the routine. You listen for your name. If it sounds close to it, you stand up. And you stand until we've completed that particular group. And then at that point, we'll congratulate all of you, and then we'll move forward from there. So we're going to begin with our 5-year employees. And the first one is Aya Abernathy from the Sheriff Confinement Area. Al Alessandra, Sheriff, North Patrol. Stacy Baker, Sheriff, Confinement. Jacqueline Braxton, Human Resources. Christina Cook-Garzak, Medical Examiner's Office. Trenton Depth, Sheriff, Courts. Jennifer Derry, Sheriff, Auto Task Force. Jesse Davenport, Sheriff, Confinement. Patrick Itumnu, Sheriff, Confinement.
Very good. I don't know, he didn't stand up.
You're getting a thumbs up from some of his colleagues out there.
Yeah, I have one. Usually all I get is abuse. Kyan Evans, Tax Office. Cecilia Fimbres, Public Health. Close? Good. At least she understood. I mean, I was close enough for her to stand up. Emma Guntner, Sheriff, Confinement. Kanisha Henderson, Public Health. Joanne Johnson, Housing Assistance. Carol Jones, Sheriff, Confinement. Uh-oh, I forgot somebody. Judy Hamilton. Sorry about that, Judy. Sometimes I get ahead of myself here. Charles Mogaga, Sheriff, Confinement. Alfonso Murillo, Sheriff, Confinement. We'll have to talk to HR about these folks that we're hiring here with these names. Jacqueline Negrete, Public Health. I'm really wondering if some of these people are here and I've just done such a poor job this month. Gwen Peterson, Purchasing.
You can give him a round of applause.
Kelly Phillips, District Clerk. Would you really thank your parents for your name? Latoya Richardson, Sheriff, Confinement. Yvonne Salazar, Tax Office. Sarah Skiles, Medical Examiner's Office. Valerie Terry, Sheriff, Confinement. Catherine Toll, Sheriff, Confinement. Catherine? Rhonda Wade, Sheriff, Confinement. Elizabeth Weaver, Tax Office. Danny Wright, Domestic Relations. Brenda Yipsey, Public Health. Okay, I know I didn't get that through.
Nowhere close.
Not even.
Yepes.
Yepes. These are our 5-year employees, Brenda. Thank you all very much. You know, we could try just doing the first names and let them lay as a group and then...
Brenda Y.
10-year employees. Maria Armendariz. Christy Bellamy, Tax Office. Paul Burkett, Sheriff, Confinement. Hayward Charles, Constable, Precinct 8. Janet Chase, Information Technology. David Collins, CSCD. These easy ones are not here. This isn't fair. Johnny Dotson, Juvenile Services. Glenda Edgert, County Clerk. Stacy Futuna, Sheriff, Confinement. Susan Goldstein, Domestic Relations. Renee Hill, Constable, Precinct 2. Rebecca Holland, 67th District Court. Regina Jarman, CSCD. Flora Johns, CSCD. Julie McFarland, CSCD. Frederick Rogers, Constable, Precinct 4. Bridget Rucker, CSCD. Ralph Smith, Transportation Services. And Ray White, Sheriff Confinement. Let's give our 10-year employees a big round. Now for our 15-year employees, Johnny Evans, Facility Management. Johnny. Keisha Heath, Sheriff Confinement. Jeffrey Jones, Sheriff Warrants. Hector Rojas, Information Technology. And Lisa Willis, County Clerk. Oh, we had all of them here. Congratulations. And now for our 20-plus years, we again show them a little bit more recognition. I have an opportunity to call and to talk with them a little bit and to give them an opportunity to share some of their experiences with the county. Our first 20-year employee this morning is David Cossey, Sheriff Courts. David started off in the jail in the Green Bay area, then moved to the Correction Center, and then was in the old jail, spent a little time at the hospital on hospital duty, and then to the courts. When I asked him what he liked most, it was the camaraderie of the folks that he had a chance to work with. He said, you know, the people he's had a chance to work with have really been great. He grew up in this county, and he said the fact that I can grow up and work in the same county that I did have a chance to grow up in meant a lot to him. He, as many folks do indicate, said that the time has really kind of flown by. We really appreciate David. David has served in the Marine Corps as well as in the Army, and so we really want to thank David not only for his service to the country, but also his service to Tarrant County. Thank you very much, David. Next is Tina Clay, Probate Court number 3.
Two. We only have 2.
Well, I wondered about that. Tina wasn't sure she was going to be able to make it. So as you see Tina, congratulate her on her 20 years of service, and just thank her for being part of our Tarrant County family. Next is Maria De Leon, Sheriff Courts. There she is. Started out in the jail and then was promoted to deputy, and then has been over in the courts area for 13 years. When I asked her about the more memorable moment, she said, you know, the day I was promoted to deputy was very special to me and meant an awful lot to me. When I asked her what she liked most, she said it certainly was the people that she had a chance to work with, but also the people that she had a chance to interact with in the court, the people that she dealt with. She said, I love the environment that we set around here and the fact that we really try to help folks out. She said, I enjoy the benefits, the flexibility. She said, I really don't think I would ever wanted to have worked anywhere else. And I tell you what, Maria, we're very glad that you worked with Tarrant County for these past 20 years. Thank you very much. Next is Valerie Jett, Human Services. There's Valerie. Started in the Human Services area as a data clerk and now does financial entry in that particular area. When I asked her a more memorable moment, she says it was the opportunity to work with the folks who came here as a result of the Katrina hurricane, and the fact that it was folks of all ages, from young to old, and it was from folks all kinds of services that were needed. When I asked her what she liked most, again, it was being able to help people, and you could really sense that passion in her voice. She said, I also enjoy very much the opportunity and the folks that I have a chance to work with. She said it just feels like home here. That she's really been supported. When she has had needs over the years, that folks have really kind of circled the wagons and been there to help her in any way they could. And she said, like many others, that the time has really, really gone by fast. Valerie, we appreciate very much the time that you've given to Tarrant County. Thank you. Next is Kelly Lawhorn with the County Clerk's Office. There's Kelly. Started out in the vital records area and then was the assistant supervisor for about 15 years and is now the assistant manager in that same area. So she's really been in that same area the whole time. When I asked her about the more memorable moment, she said it was when the clerk's office took over the city of Fort Worth's records as far as, I guess, the birth certificates and that such goes. She said at that time they also moved into new offices, and so that the new offices were really exciting. When I asked her what she liked most, she said it was the people that she had a chance to work with, that it was really like a second family, and that she really enjoyed working with the public and being able to help them out in any way that they needed help. Kelly, we thank you very much for the 20 years that you've given Tarrant County. Next is Grant Letty with the Sheriff's Warrants area. Spent 20 years again with Tarrant County. Started out in the jail, worked in patrol for a while, and is now over in the Warrants area. When I asked him about his more memorable moments, he said, the thing that I want to remember is that things have been pretty calm. And he said, in my area, in patrol and serving warrants, you really look for calm, and that's the memorable things, is you don't want memorable moments in those areas, and certainly can understand that. When I asked him what he liked most, he said it was, basically the job in general. He said, I've enjoyed this job, and it's meant a lot to me. And he said, of course, dealing with folks, and we hear that over and over again, and I think it says so much about all of us and all of y'all, because what you do is you enjoy public service. You enjoy dealing with folks and helping them out, and I think that means so much to not only, one, enjoying your job, but also in helping the citizens. And Grant, we appreciate very much the 20 years you've given to public service in the Tarrant County. Thank you. Next is Clarence Lyons, Precinct 1 Maintenance. There's Clarence. Clarence said he could be here today because TC and Commissioner Brooks said he could be.
That's right.
Started out in Precinct 1 as a temporary, and then when a full-time position opened up, he took that and started out as an Operator 1. He said he worked the inmate program for several years, and then was promoted to Operator 2, and eventually, and I guess now, he is the the park crew project supervisor. When I asked him what he liked most, it said it was what he had an opportunity to do, as well as the people that he had a chance to work with. He said when somebody told him that he was getting ready to celebrate his 20 years, he said, I didn't believe him. He said, time has just gone by too quickly, and I didn't realize that I'd been here anywhere near 20 years. And Clarence, we appreciate very much the 20 years you've given us, and thank you very much for your service. Next was Linda Patrick. Linda Patrick is with CSCD and is celebrating 20 years, but she wasn't able to make it to court today. So, again, if you see her, please congratulate her and thank her for her years of service. Next is Clarence Presley, 20 years facility management. All know Clarence. Started out when there was an opening, I guess when we were just about to open the new correction center. Started out as a building engineer 1, and then moved to 2, and then to 3, and then eventually to superintendent and operations, and is now, as we all know, the assistant director. When I asked him about the more memorable moments, he said it was adding on to Green Bay, and then also working on the new jail that he's working on now, and that hopefully that was going to be finished in around April, and I know that's been a big job, and one that we appreciate very much your leadership and your oversight on. When I asked him what he liked most, again, it was the folks that he had a chance to work with really all over the county. And, I think facilities does touch just about the entire county. And so they do have an opportunity to have a chance to visit with and to work with a lot of folks. He said he's enjoyed very much the people he's had a chance to work for over the years, that the, not only the folks there in the facilities, but really all over the county. Clarence, we appreciate very much the 20 years you've given to Tarrant County. Next is Veronica Sargent with the District Attorney's Office. There she is. Started out in the elections area as a temporary for about 1 year, and then got hired on as a receptionist over in the narcotics area, and is now the legal secretary for the West sector of the narcotics department. So she's really spent, I guess, almost the entire time with the narcotics area. When I asked her what she liked most about the job, again, it was the great people that she's had a chance to work with. It was also a lot of the stuff that we do, the WOW program, and a lot of the opportunities that we have for our county employees. She said, I like the benefits and the retirees and the retirement and that opportunities. When I asked her if there was anything else, she says, I've worked for the county about half my life. She said, well, wait a minute, that's going to tell them how old I am. I just had to throw that in there. She said, when I started off, I actually worked in the Mueller building, and then now they're off of over there off John T. White. It's not actually a county building. It's a building that we lease. And Veronica, we appreciate very much the time you've given for Tarrant County. Thank you. Next is Gerald Smith. Gerald is our Director of Human Services, has been with us for 20 years. Started out as the Human Services Director. Actually, I guess he came up here from the Hillsborough area. When I asked him of his more memorable moments, he said, it was the first time I met the court members. When I came up here and kind of interviewed and met with them, he said, I was really impressed with their sincerity. They asked questions about my family. You could tell that they were genuinely interested in knowing about me and about my family. And then he said the other thing that really stuck out was when the county purchased the Resource Connection from the state, and what a great deal that was, not only for the state but really for the county and what it has developed into. When I asked him what he liked most, he said it's the sense of accomplishment, the opportunity to assist people and to help provide for them. And it's the feeling of making a difference. And as we saw this morning, the fact that they really go out of their way to try to partner with the business community. We recognized Atmos this morning for their contributions. There are other folks that constantly are looking to try to help. And our Human Services area, I think, goes out of their way to try to find that, so that it's not just the tax dollars, it's not just the government doing this, but it's a collaboration. And I think we do that very well. We want to thank Gerald very much for the 20 years that you've given us. Thank you. Now for our 25-year employees. The first one is Gail Attaway from CSCD. There's Gail. Gail started out in the accounting and bookkeeping area, and then was promoted over to the budgeting area, and she's now the supervisor over the accounting area. When I asked her about a more memorable moment, she said, there was an opportunity at one point in there where she was actually given an opportunity to work for 2 or 3 different areas of the county. And she said, I was extremely pleased for that, because it kind of said that I must be doing things right. And we certainly agree with that, Gail. When I asked her what she liked most, she says, I absolutely love my job. I love the people that I get a chance to work with. And she said, and also the people that we serve, the people that we see coming through there. She said it is an opportunity, and, we try to make it better for them, and we try to make sure that they make it better for themselves. And I think, again, that's it's showing them respect, and it's trying to help them get through, a difficult time in their life. She said, I love coming to work each day, and if I ever get to the point where I don't, then, I think that's the day I'll to hang it up. And we hope that's a long, long time away. Gail, we appreciate the 25 years you've given us. Thank you. Next is Peggy Martindale with our law library. Has been here for 25 years. There's Peggy. Started out as a filer and updating books, and she was, I guess, doing that while you were actually still in school. And then after she graduated, she came to work there full time. When I asked her about the more memorable moments, she mentioned, is just about everybody in the old courthouse does, the shooting that occurred there. But she also mentioned, and again, I thought it was kind of unique in talking with the folks. She was the second person that mentioned helping the people in the Katrina hurricane, and the fact that, again, relating back to what we as county employees did in putting together stores that the people could go then and get things that they needed that they had lost, because many of them lost everything. And when they got on the bus, they got on the bus with everything they had left. And so, again, our folks came together. They worked after hours. They worked on weekends to help others out. And she said that meant an awful lot to me. When I asked her what she liked most, it was the fact that there was something new every day in the job that she did. And she truly loved the people that she had a chance to work with, and also the people that they got to help. She, like many others, said that the time had really had an opportunity, had really flown by. And Peggy, we just very much appreciate the 25 years you've given us. Thanks. Now, the last of our 25-year employees is Renee Smith from CSCD, and I believe she's out of town and was not going to be able to make it. Again, she sent me some information. I then had again tried to call her, but she was going to be out of town. But she is in CSCD, and when you see Renee when she gets back in, congratulate her on the 25 years that she's given to Tarrant County. She actually started in the JTPA program as a summer help during college. And then after college, she came with us full time. So when you see Renee, again, congratulate her for the 25 years of service. And again, we want to thank all of y'all for your service to the county and to the citizens of the county. We've got refreshments back in 504C. So at this point in time, we'll take a short recess. And before you leave, I just want to remind you, United Way. We're going to beat the city. Go back there and encourage your colleagues to help us make sure we beat the city. might give it to Nellie and be surprised at what Nellie would give him. For real. Let's go ahead and get started. Did you want to?
I just want to recognize a very exciting news that one of the Arlington residents, a very well-known resident in Arlington, Mr. Ben Doscasile, the former owner of Doscasile, he caught the Grand Slam ball last night, of all people. So he's a good friend of mine, and he kind of lived down the road. And Ron, we got to work together to get him to donate that ball to the United Way call.
Oh yeah.
Huh? Let's call him up. Can you call him up?
That's great. That's a great idea, Ron. You do it.
It's called delegation.
He's already turning red. Get up here and wear this cap right now. You'd be about right.
Thank you. I'm excited about that.
I tell you what, it was to have that home run or to have that ball. That's a pretty big deal. Court members, you have before you the consent agenda.
Move approval of the consent agenda.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. We have, I guess we'll go to the administrator's report. Those public hearings are all on the consent, I believe. Go right ahead, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor. Members of the court, we have 3 additional items to bring to the court this morning. The first concerns the redrawing of Tarrant County Justice Precinct boundaries. If I could give you just a little history. On September 6th, this Commissioner's Court approved a preliminary map and demographic data that was submitted by the Administrator's Office and our legal counsel. We held a public hearing on September 20th. At that time, which was held here in the Commissioner's courtroom, the preliminary map was displayed. We received input, citizen input. At that time also we received a second map, which is the Sutton map. And there was an analysis completed on that map also. And so we are now at a point where that we have received, analyzed, and had public input as it relates to these particular maps. And we're requesting that the Commissioner's Court approve an order which redraws these boundaries. Just for court's edification, option 1 is the preliminary illustrative map that you had preliminarily adopted on September 6th, and option 2 is the citizen plan submission map and demographic data which you received on September 20th.
Well, based on the facts that I gathered, and based on the fact that we have a balanced workload among all the JPs, and we have consensus among all the JPs and the constables, and based on the fact that the option 1 present a more balanced representation for minority in both precincts, not just one, I move for the approval of option 1.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Discussion?
Yes, sir. I am not a voting rights expert, but I do have quite a bit of familiarity with the Voting Rights Act. And among other things, the Voting Rights Act asks that jurisdictions where it is possible and where it is feasible, that they draw districts that support the ability of minority populations to elect the candidate of their choice. Among the requirements of the Voting Rights Act, it does not say that you shall consider the convenience of the incumbents. It does not say that you should consider where sub-courthouses are located. It does not say that you should consider the costs of providing such access to minority group populations. After all, what is the voting franchise worth? It is priceless and is to be protected and encouraged and expanded each and every time you get the opportunity to do so. Now, this county has grown astronomically over the last decade, since the last census was taken and since we last redrew these boundaries. An overwhelming portion of that growth was in communities of color. Considering that alone, it would argue in favor of creating another minority opportunity district, because we have the chance to do it, we have the ability to do it, it is drawable on the ground, and it's the right thing to do. Therefore, I will not be supporting map number 1, but instead map number 2.
Any other discussion, any other comments? Please vote. Wait. Please vote again. Motion passes 4-1.
Member of the Court, we can now move to item number 2. This concerns the nomination of candidates to the Tarrant Appraisal District Board of Directors. We had discussed this briefly 2 weeks ago and had asked if there was anyone that you would like to nominate to let our office know. I did send out an email to the court yesterday indicating that I did speak to Mr. Brown. Mr. Brown is not seeking to run again for that board. So at this time, if the court would like to make any nominations, then this is the opportunity. If you'll give us those names, we will then complete the resolution and bring that to you after close for your vote.
I would like to nominate Michael Glaspie.
I thought we were going to wait until after close.
If you could just give me the names, we'll go ahead and put them in a resolution and then vote. But if you could give me those names now, that way we could set that on the resolution. So we'll put Mr. Glaspie's name on that resolution. Is there anyone else that you'd like to put? We had the opportunity to nominate up to 5 individuals.
Well, I'd like to nominate John Fain for reappointment.
Who?
John Fegan. Excuse me.
Now, Joe and the other two, Joe Pauloff and John Molinax, were both nominees from other entities, right?
We do not know if no other entity has submitted their nominations yet.
Okay, well, I would go ahead and suggest that we also put Joe and John on there also.
The one you were nominating is one that's on the board now.
Yes.
Right.
For
Okay.
re-election.
Anybody else?
So, members of the court, we will have that resolution prepared for you to take a vote at the end of the court meeting today.
Okay.
Members of the court, if we could move to item number 3, we're requesting that the court consider and approve an exception to the county's travel policy for Justice of the Peace Precinct 4. This will allow Judge Wright to attend a conference in Rockwall County and to spend the night.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion, second. Any further discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ms. Tidwell.
We have 2 items for the court to consider this morning. The first item is to approve the Tarrant County investment policy. The legislature, when it met in session, had some mostly wording changes or technical changes. And so what we've done is incorporate those Public Fund Investment Act changes from the legislature, and those are highlighted in the document. If you have any questions, otherwise we're recommending its approval.
Move for approval.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
And our other item is to ask the court to receive and file the auditor's report for our review of mileage reimbursement to county employees. We have attached 2 responses related to the audit, and then we're working with the administrator's office for any changes that might be appropriate in the county's policy that addresses these areas. Again, if you have any questions, otherwise I'd ask that you receive and file the document.
Is this going to come back up on the court agenda later? Because it
Not
looks
unless-
like we've got a lot of discrepancies here.
Not unless there's some failure, I suppose, to get the policies amended. Is there something in particular that you would direct us to focus on, or?
No, if there is something, I'll have it put on the agenda.
Just a comment, Commissioner Johnson, in some areas such as public health, since we received the draft of this report or this audit, the court has assigned 2 pool vehicles to this one particular area so that we'll be able to use pool vehicles rather than mileage as it relates to that. And as Ms. Tidwell said, we are working with her to look at our policies and see if there's any modifications that we need to make.
We think some clarification is necessary, and then certainly whatever thoughts that the court has, share those with Mr. Manius or myself. But if we clarify the policy, I think there's just been some confusion in a lot of instances on part of the employees. And then some of the areas we simply wanted to make you aware and make the managers aware, not necessarily that there was a problem, just the fact that information that may have not been on everybody's
One of your
knowledge.
recommendations, Renee, is for the court to formally designate a department responsible for documenting the assignment and use of the county vehicles.
If I might, may I address that, Ms. Tidwell?
Certainly.
Right now, the Transportation Department is responsible for maintaining the vehicle fleet and also
Right.
the assignment of vehicles to the departments themselves. What Ms. Tidwell is speaking of is those individuals who are authorized to have take-home cars, that there needs to be some mechanism built in where that they report who has take-home cars. There's a potential tax issue. We'll see in several weeks. We're going to be coming back, since it is a payroll issue, that the reporting as to who has take-home cars, we're probably going to recommend that it be the auditor's office.
So I guess what I'm hearing from you is you guys going to work things out among each other and then kind of come back to the court with a recommendation and so forth?
Yes.
I would think we'd come back to the court with the actual policy changes that are being proposed.
Okay.
Well, and I also hope that as we go through that, I mean, we discuss this every year through the budget process also, where we talk about, the take-home automobiles or different things. We need to, I think, all kind of step back and look at this, especially when we're paying that kind of mileage out. If given the reimbursement rate that we've got right now, there are some instances, based upon what our daily rental car rates are, that if somebody's going to Austin or out and back, it may be cheaper for them to rent a car than for us to reimburse them for taking their car and going down there. I think our daily rental car rates are 25. I'll ask Jack. Jack, daily rental car rates with Enterprise?
Yes, Enterprise or Anderson, it's in the 25 on the 25, 30.
So if you go to Austin at 50 cents a mile, that's a $200 reimbursement. You could rent a car for 25, fill it with gas one time for, if it's a gas guzzler like the 3 of us got, it'll be a $75 to $100 fill in the tank. But probably what we'd be renting would be a whole lot less than that. So it'd save us money. So we just need to begin using a little bit of logic, and I think we need to see the policy and maybe in light of what all we're looking at right now. But we also need to address cars being out of the county, when they're out of the county, and who's got the deal. I think we just need to step back and look at all of that.
That would include take-home cars that, for employees that live out of the county, that we've talked about for years, not allowing those cars to go out of the county at night.
I think that's true, and I think that's...
a lot of them doing that.
I know.
And I think that's where we need to bring in, like I said, I know we hit this every year as we go through budget, so if Renee and Debbie and Renee and whomever else, we need to pull into the mix and then come back in a month or so with policy on it, or recommendations on changes. We need a motion to receive and file.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion, 2 motions and a second, so y'all figure it out. Any other discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Mr. Brock.
Thank you, Your Honor. Under item 1 to the DA's office, we're requesting approval of an internship agreement between Tarrant County and Texas Christian University. Our victims assistance folks are going to have some young college students work with them, with our victims and that sort of thing. That's what the purpose of the program is.
What did you just mumble to us?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, and I was saying it way too quickly for my own brain to understand it. We're going to have some college interns that are going to work with the Victims Assistant Program and work with the victims in that area, and that's the purpose of and they're going to get some school credit for it, too.
Have we offered the same arrangement to the other universities in the area?
I have no idea. But I don't think we'd have a problem with it.
Very good. Right answer.
I'll move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Ms. Glenn.
I move to receive and file personnel agenda.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to receive and file the personnel agenda. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Beecham.
You got a hat today?
No football discussion today.
I was just going to say, we're all happy. Everybody won, I think, over the weekend, except for you Texas X's.
How about those Longhorns?
How about them Rangers? Go right ahead, Mr.
We have 7 items for your consideration this morning. Our first item is a bid award recommendation for RFP number 2011-143. This is an RFP for an in-building radio coverage system for the new maximum security jail. Recommendation will be toward the DFW Communications, the amount of $154,530.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Number 2 is also a bid award recommendation for our bid number 2011-138. This is a bid for a chilled water remodel and utility connections for underground plumbing for both the county courthouse and this administration building. Recommendation will be toward to RLP Mechanical Contractors, the amount of $1,205,626. If approved, we're seeking contract approval and acceptance of the performance and the payment bond.
Is this in order to facilitate tearing down the old civil courts buildings?
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
Thank you. Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Number 3 is an item in regards to bid number 2011-145. This was a bid for the maintenance of a DVTEL video management systems for county buildings. We're asking to reject this and asking permission to rebid with revised specifications. We got an email from the manufacturer late last week, and apparently they provided pricing to several distributors that were choosing to bid. By rejecting this bid, we will save approximately $20,000 to $24,000.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Number 4 is a bid award recommendation for our bid number 2011-149. This is an annual contract for water treatment services for our county buildings. Our recommendation will be toward the low bidder, Chem Aqua, on a per unit price per building basis.
Move for approval.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Item number 5 is also a bid award recommendation for bid number 2011-153. This is our annual contract for lumber and building materials. A recommendation would be toward a per unit price basis, awarding to the primary, secondary, and alternate vendors as shown in your court communique.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Number 6 is another bid award recommendation for bid number 2011-150. It's an annual contract for the purchase of our service awards for human resources. Recommendation would be toward to the low bidder, the Herndon Recognition Company, on a per unit price basis.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Number 7, our last item, is also a bid award recommendation for RFP number 2011-119. This is an RFP for SAP Consulting Services. Recommendation would be toward to the primary, secondary, and alternate vendors as shown in the court communique that meet all our specifications. There were problems with 4 vendors. 2 vendors, Optimal Solutions and Valtech Solutions, were deemed non-responsive for not including their addendum as required. Sierra Infosystems was deemed non-responsive for not including the signature page. And a company called USM Business Systems was deemed non-responsive for not including the signature page and the addendum.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Lamb.
Thank you, Judge. I'm here today to request that Commissioners Court approve and accept a deed without warranty for the conveyance of 1.7 acres of property for right-of-way purposes along Avondale-Haslett Road, just east of 156. We also ask that you authorize the right-of-way supervisor to sign the closing documents and to record the deed of the Tarrant County deed records.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Commissioner Johnson, I believe you have some interlocals.
I have several interlocals. I would move approval of item 9N, 1A through J. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Are there any appointments today?
Glenn, I wanted to make a comment about one of those items, and it's the speed limit. Was that in there, J.D.?
No, that was
a public hearing.
Okay. On that speed limit that we changed from 45
Bonds
to
Ranch
50
Road that we're going to
on
change.
Bonds, can you look at that also from going east of Business 287?
Yes, sir, we will. We'll look at
I think it's important to try to be consistent.
We'll need to coordinate with the cities on that side,
Okay.
too. Yes, sir, we'll look at that.
Thanks.
No appointments? Then you have before you the claims, including the addendum.
Move for approval.
Second.
A motion and a second to approve the claims, including the addendum. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Briefing items, Mr. Mania.
Your Honor, we do not have any briefing items for the court this morning.
Then we'll now recess our open meeting and proceed to closed
What kind of motion did we need?
At this time, we will reconvene and consider the resolution presented regarding the Board of Directors nomination and turnaround.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you, Courtney.
Being no further business, we're adjourned.
We've already signed the resolution.
Every mic is live, Commissioner.